In this box that used to belong to oranges, I have some very important and symbolic items that pretty much they just represent things that relate to my presenting self as well as my perceived self. And just to give a quick definition of each of those, you can think of presenting self as the yourself, or the version of yourself that you present to the outside world. And your perceived self you can think of as the version of yourself that you think of yourself as, or the things that you believe that you are. And my first item, let's see, let's start with this. This is a Mickey Mouse hat that I got from Disneyland a year ago, 2 years ago. Sometime in my past, I got this Mickey Mouse hat, and pretty much what this represents to me is, we went as a vacation, so to me this is like my drive behind going to school, and I want to be I want to present myself as somebody that's motivated and optimistic, and I have bigger plans in life. And pretty much this, you can see it as a symbol of vacation, or treating yourself as an adult with to reward yourself for hard work. These are my wrist straps. I use these for the gym. Pretty much what this symbolizes to me is I want to be seen as somebody healthy, somebody that takes care of themselves, not just in a physical way, but also mentally, because going to the gym and working out and staying active, those kinds of things are really important to keeping you healthy, in the long term, both physically and mentally. This is a pair of shoes that I bought a while ago. This is just one of them, so I guess just one shoe. It's not a pair. What this represents to me is I am somebody that cares about what I look like, not necessarily to please others, but just I care about how I look, and I want to be seen as somebody well put together, and I just like dressing well, whether it's to go to school or to go to work. I just want to be somebody that's seen as put together. So moving on to what I perceive myself as, these are my headphones. I use these pretty much anytime that anytime that I have the chance to listen to music, I'm going to be using these, just because I like listening to music, for one, and two, I like wearing headphones just because of how they pretty much makes me feel like I'm in my own bubble, So yeah, I see myself as somebody that's I'm to myself, and I'll use these at work or at the gym, or like I said, anytime that I'll leave the house. And so usually at work, people won't talk to me if I have my headphones on, and sometimes that's the goal, just because I'm, like I said, I'm somebody I keep to myself, and there are certain times where I need to be in my own bubble. So that's what this represents to me, is somebody that's not too open with others. This is my wallet. It's empty. empty right now, but what this represents to me is I want to I value financial responsibility, you know, even though sometimes it's hard to, you know, keep up with something like that, you know, something like being responsible with money. It's something that I value a lot because of how important it can be in the long term. Just being somebody that knows how to spend money wisely, save it wisely, and you know, just being smart with it overall. That's just something that's important to me. So that's what my wallet represents. Last but not least, I have this Spider-Man Pez candy dispenser. There's no specific reason that I chose my a candy dispenser. I just picked anything that was Spider-Man. Just because, to me, Spider-Man kind of always represented, you know, mental health. And the reason for that is gonna take a bit of explaining. In the second part, in the second Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man loses his powers. And if you pay attention to this movie and what's going on when he loses his powers, it's around the time where he just doesn't have his life put together, you know, and he's not showing up to class, he's late to work, and just all these things, and that led him to lose his powers. And later on in the movie, obviously he gets his powers back, but this isn't until after he figures out his personal life with his friends, and after he starts going back to school, and pretty much after he's back on track with his mental health, because he was, you know, in the movie he was mourning the death of his uncle. So long story short, what I took from that is just that, you know, you can't be a hero if you're just not there mentally, you know. So I'm somebody that really values mental health over a lot of things, you know, just because I think that if, you know, like the message behind this movie was, you know, if you don't have it put together mentally or emotionally, you know, you can't do most you can't live your everyday life, just because, you know, you have to be good mentally. So that's something that I really value. That was my last item. So thank you for listening to my my items and the meanings behind them.